All right, folks, welcome to Satterwhite Live this week. Danny Grizzle.
Randy Stringer.
Yeah. Usually I'm the guy behind the technology around here. And on days like today what's going on? Blake's been on vacation last week. We were getting pictures and updates from the beach, but he's home. Yeah. However, he's on dad duty today.
Yeah, good for Blake.
His little daughter woke up with tummy troubles this morning.
Yeah, he's going to be a well-rounded dad.
So you're in Blake's seat.
All right. Can't fill that seat, but I'm going to try.
Blake's busy changing diapers, folks. And as luck would have it, I didn't know this was going to happen when we had our last episode of Satterwhite Live, but Josh, our other normal co-host, is on vacation this week. Were you here when you know what they're doing?
I do know what they're doing. Of course, I don't want to give it away. We just know they're on vacation. It's not a staycation.
I'm going to give it away.
All right, go ahead.
I built part of the show around this.
Okay, go ahead.
So they're let's just say if you're in Yellowstone this week, be looking for Josh and Megan.
or the Tetons. They're headed there too.
Yeah, so they're flying into Bozeman, Montana today.
Yep.
And they'll be up there in the northwest corner of Wyoming, a little bit into Montana. And yeah.
If you haven't gone, it's beautiful. The Tetons are amazing. They're amazing.
Yeah. I was wearing my Yellowstone t-shirt last week and somebody commented. So last week got complicated and I can't ever recall canceling a show before, but same deal. Anyway, we can go into all the details. We do have an episode coming up that we're going to talk about standby generators. So I did tease that a little bit last week. We've got the show all built, but of course, when you have experts coming in from outside the company, they've got to be available. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about what's going on, because what happened to our beautiful anchor desk in the beautiful Cedar Top?
Our beautiful anchor desk in Cedar Top is on its way to Birmingham, Alabama it's called the World Deer Expo. Not many log home shows around anymore, so we get where we can. This is a great show. It's actually a sold out show, and it takes up 3 floors of the Birmingham Jefferson Convention Center. We're in booth 2217 and 2218. You go in the main level, take the escalator down, and you're going to see us. It's not expensive, really. It's $16 for an adult and $4 for kids that are like 4 to 11. And if you're into any kind of hunting, and there's going to be something other than hunting there too, obviously, if we're there, I'm not going to say it, but there's going to be there'll be a variety of things you can see other than just deer heads.
They always have a lot of activities for kids. And I don't know about this particular show, but a lot of times they've got fishing tanks and all kinds of stuff for kids. So and this is nothing new for us. I mean, I think it's because the salesmen around here like to do hunting shows, but of course...
It is fun. It is a lot more fun to do a hunting show because there's a lot of interests. We do log homes a lot and we don't mind it, but when you get to go to a hunting show, there's other interests that we do have other than log homes, so it's fun.
And it's a good match because a lot of people who hunt and they're outdoor people, they've got land, and anybody who's leading that rural lifestyle, that's just a good match for log home.
It is. Well, it is in Birmingham in an area called Central City, and it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday is like 3 to 6, and Saturday's 10 to 9, and Sunday is 10 to 6. Again, it's not expensive to get in. It's $16 for adults.
So today's, and we'll talk about, we do have another show to discuss, but the title of today's show is Backstory, which is kind of a look behind the curtains of a lot of things that might go on at Satterwhite Live, and we'll try to keep this, we've already gone 5 minutes here, Randy. So let's...
Hey, we're almost done.
Yeah, no, we got something and some pretty pictures coming here in a second. But let's talk about the Satterwhite seminar. And you mentioned that, yeah, we all know what happened last year, and the show calendar's just been wiped out. But we expect the log home show we know folks like to visit the big trade shows, and we've been a big participant in the convention centers all across America. We get too many questions, like people call in and say, "Do y'all build log homes in Smith County, which is like one county away from here?" And you know, we've got homes. Where do we not have homes? We've got an active builder in New Zealand.
We do have one in New Zealand.
It's just Satterwhite homes have been built worldwide, and so if you're in the United States, you're like local.
Yeah, you really are. Yeah, and we build in 9 states, but we do have offices in Georgia and Gunnison, Utah as well. So we got the East Coast and the West Coast, and us Midwesterner or mid folks right here in the middle.
And that 9-state thing confuses people a lot. We're going to show some pictures today of a lot of homes outside those 9 states. And the simple fact of that is when you put, and we've done this tens of thousands of times, and when you put that pencil to the paper, we just, you know, the combination of events, we know our building system can be produced by any competent carpenter. And so it just doesn't make sense for us to be off in maybe Montana, although we've got plenty of homes up that way, and we've got an active sales office in fact, both of our other sales offices are in areas where we don't build.
Right, that is correct. Yeah.
But we know builders in those other parts of the world, and we're not there to compete with them. We're just, our forte is providing nature's finest house log.
Yeah, the southeastern part of the states is what we specialize in, and really most of the building is standardized around there, and you could say mainly because of snow load. You know, once you get to a greater snow load, you're going to have to change your roof structure. We have kind of a standard roof structure that works in those 9 states. And right. It's not hard construction. You do need to have some carpenter experience, whether you want us to do it or you do it or finish it out yourself or whatever.
So we don't have time to go into all the details, and that wasn't the point of this show, but know this. If you want to build a log home anywhere in the United States, Satterwhite's been doing that for close to 50 years. I mean, we launched like a rocket. That's another story.
Yeah.
Today's the backstory.
Yeah. Now, the seminar that Danny mentioned, it's going to be 1st and 2nd of October, and we do have people come from all over the United States to come to the seminar, and it is a great deal. 1st and 2nd, it's $50 a person to come. The first day is on a Friday, and we'll have kind of a classroom setting seminar, and you're going to learn what we do and how we do it. And it's everything from dirt work to a completed shell.
I just call it a jump start. Instead of spinning your wheels for a couple of years trying to get oriented about how to get after it, when you're ready to go, who wants to be spinning your tires?
Yeah.
The seminar's been reformatted a little bit, but
it has.
That $50 basically is to cover the meal cost.
And it doesn't cover the meal cost, because you're going to get breakfast Friday, you're going to get lunch Friday, you're going to get barbecue Friday night, along with some home tours after the seminar. You're going to have breakfast Saturday, you're going to have lunch Saturday, because Saturday you'll come to the Satterwhite offices. We'll have a tour of the offices, the warehouse, and breakfast. And then after that, we'll take a little short drive to a job in progress with our crews. And hopefully we'll be, whatever stage it's in, that's where we're going to be. We like to be at the log stacking stage, so you can kind of see how it goes.
So we are kind of revamping the seminar right now, and so everything as Randy's just described, it may not be literally true on any specific occasion, but we guarantee you we will have activities that will, it's never failed to please everyone here. We've talked too long, we've gone 10 minutes on this. So let's talk about.
I have to tell you something else. It's half full already. It's in October and it's already half full. And if you want to register, you got to do it by phone. We're not ready to do it online. Do it by phone. And we have a toll-free number. We have a local number. Our toll-free number is 800-777-7288. And you can pay by credit card, however you want to do it. And we'll send you the registration. We'll send you a packet in the mail. It's I'm telling you, it's a good deal. It really is a good deal.
It is. Everybody loves it. And that phone number is on our website. You can click below this video, and Randy's right. The thing will sell out before one of the backstories around here is we're rebuilding our website. And so it'll sell out before we have the registration system built so that this can return to online registration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So give us a call if you have an interest, and the dates were?
October 1st and 2nd.
October 1st and 2nd.
It'll be it start at 8 o'clock in the morning both days.
So that's right, because it's October 1st and 2nd because it ain't even fun to be outside in Texas this time of year.
Yeah.
So, all right. I had some kind of super clever thing that I was going to talk about. Here's what happened. Alan Amos and Chris Crump from our Georgia office are going to be the two guys that are at the Birmingham show this weekend. So if you get a chance, if you're anywhere near Birmingham, Alabama, check that out.
That's right. You can talk to a salesman on site. You don't have to travel here. You can talk to a salesman face to face.
So Alan got the idea yesterday that he would like to do a new slideshow to have at the booth. And so Danny being Danny, I stayed up here until 10 o'clock last night, and I prepared 1,000 images from our photo shoots of our homes. Mm-hmm. I prepared over 1,000 images for Alan's display at the trade show, and I didn't scratch the surface of what we got. And the things that we photograph, we don't photograph 1 in 100. We wish we could photograph half the projects that are done out there. Now, one of the things that I've always heard, as we have a show of hands at these seminars to see from all over the country where folks are from, and there's things that we know about you. Even these Satterwhite Live seminars are always, or these Satterwhite Live broadcaster seem to always be about Satterwhite. But we actually know a lot about you because the demographics of people. I read this in Outside Magazine a long time ago when I was young enough to hike and enjoy and read that kind of stuff. But they wrote an article about log homes, and they said log cabins are nearly a universal dream of humanity. I see it on Facebook. Mm-hmm. People will show a cabin and says, "Could you live here 2 years without the internet?" And everybody's, that is so. Yeah, and thanks to Elon Musk and Starlink, you don't even have to be without the internet anywhere.
All right.
But anyway, and as I last night as I was working on these 1,000 images to send to Birmingham with Alan today, I'm having a little sentimental experience because I made all these photographs we're going to see today.
Well, and I hope he starts from first to now because they have changed.
Yes, they have changed. In fact, they've changed since I made these pictures. There's nothing just real current in here. But I'm going to go ahead and jump into these things. The log home experience is a universal. So let's switch to the slides. I got a little iPad over here I'm going to touch.
I think I'm done.
Hang out with me, Randy. Heckle me or something. I'll get in a jam.
You buy my lunch.
I know. So this was just at total random because, to tell you the truth, I was building this slideshow up until 5 minutes before our live stream started today, just picking some things out. And this particular project is in the Wichita Mountains, and this one happens to be up by Broken Bow, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And I thought that I wanted to show this one. I picked this one because people come to us for ideas, and we show all these magnificent pictures. But when I say that we learn from you as much as you learn from us, is we see what you do with our products, and it amazes us. This lady here, in the forethought that she gave to this home in the design stages is amazing. Like, for instance, I love the duotone staining scheme that she has here. It's not just, I picked a color and just washed the whole place the same color, so that we see all the trim is a different color than the logs. And that ceiling, which is aspen. Now, we
You don't see many aspen ceilings stained a darker color.
No, you don't. It's a very light colored wood.
Yes.
So I just wanted to show just a little bit of this home and how fabulous this turned out. We're just going to click through. Tim Whitfield this was actually built by one of our crews. What an arch.
Yeah.
Just these guys, Tim makes so much fun of himself. He'll say, strong back, weak mind. But let me tell you what, those carpenters knew everything about math before anybody was ever teaching math in a school. He does fabulous work. We have tremendous respect for the crews that we work with, many of whom have been here such a long time. That's just a reverse view in the same room. That neat railing around that stairway in the back, the twig. I just look at the detail in these.
Is that iron or is it cherry laurel?
I think that was iron.
Yeah.
So now we do some of that with mountain laurel branches in some other homes. She thought through even her dining area and the bench seating and the clearances around the table so that she's got storage beneath the seats. This is not a primary residence. This is the family's, that window banks. And you know, the point is that you won't see a window bank in a seating area like that in any of our standard plans. But whatever you imagine, we can get there. We can get there for you. If you have special dreams, you're not confined to what you see in our book. Look at those French doors into the master bedroom. Again, just fabulous. Swedish cope logs. Everything, the porch depth, that openness to the outside, which is pleasant many parts of the year.
Broken Bow's a beautiful area.
Oh yeah, that's and they went up there. I mean, the family is from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and they went up there because they wanted a deep water lake. They wanted blue water. They were from a part of the area, the country with deep river. They wanted blue water to water ski and stuff, not the muddy water lakes that we have here in Texas.
We have around here.
Yeah, they're all shallow. But she thought through every detail, even the outdoor furniture that she wanted to place and the porch depths necessary to accommodate that. So just a great job, and our designers are thrilled when someone comes through the door and wants to customize these plans and do something like that. Yeah. I'm going to go into a little bit more of backstory. The Artesian Lakes is I'm not going to call this a real estate development. It's down towards Houston, and it's in the Trinity River bottoms. It's not actually on the Trinity River. It's on an ancient meander of back in geologic time, a meander of the Trinity River. And I meant to do some research on this, but there was like 1900, when was the Galveston hurricane?
It was, yeah.
Still, yeah. It was at the like the beginning of the 20th century, the 1900 or so, and it is to this day the largest loss of life natural disaster in the history of the United States. Well, Galveston determined to build a seawall after that, which means an enormous amount of concrete. They had to have gravel, and they went and found gravel in this ancient meander where the Trinity River over jillions of years or whatever had ground rock to the perfect size of gravel. They built a railroad spur onto this property, and they had old steam shovels, and they dug long trenches, huge amount of place, parallel trenches and railroads, and carried all that gravel down and built the Galveston seawall. They actually raised the entire elevation of the city of Galveston above grade. I think a lot of this gravel was also used, or maybe primarily used, in the city of Beaumont for the same purposes. But
only Danny and very few people would know that.
Okay. But it's just fascinating, and the backstory on this is after they had, dug these trenches and everything. Of course, the water table in that part of Texas is so high that those trenches just filled with water, natural spring water, running clear, beautiful. And this man who owns this house is a third-generation dentist, and his grandfather, who was a dentist, bought this after the industrial, and he just let nature reclaim it for 100 years. A lot of people, and he developed a resort there called Chain of Lakes.
Yeah.
And so those gravel pits basically became lakes, and they had like kids' summer camps, and a lot of people, generations of people from Houston have memories of spending time there and canoeing. They never allowed any power boats, but gliding around. They cut, my remote wasn't working. That was me groaning there. They interconnected all the gravel trenches so that you could canoe and just play in nature. And I don't know if they brought the alligators in, but the alligators are fun too. They love marshmallows. Boy,
I'll take your word for it.
We're going to go quick on this now. Okay, so here's they had a hurricane down there, and these swell butt cypress trees that you see at the corners of the doctor's home were actually salvaged from his own property. And that's another thing important about Satterwhite. Boy, we are so flexible. If you've got, if you want to get your doors someplace else, your windows someplace else, you've got line item veto.
Yeah.
We are just, whatever makes you happy, that we're for it. So he had some as long as it'll work.
Yeah.
So he had some blow down cypress, and he wanted to use those porch poster from his own property. And I think that he did something again, customization of style, with those scalloped corners. That just somehow is just so tasteful and works so well with. I'm going to be disappointed. This is where I lose my confidence, folks. I'm going to make sure that we've even got audio going out here, because I don't have any help monitoring this. That entered my mind, and I had to check it. I had to get up and check it, Randy. Okay. Vineyard that he's got going around his home there. And now this is a little bit of the backstory that people see these pictures and never know. So this guy, his grandfather bought this property maybe before his father was born, and all three of these guys are dentists. And now so when he was a child running this property, and they're still, they had rocks and stuff they had dug up and cast aside in that fireplace, and he pointed out, and it was unmistakable, he found a dinosaur tooth on that property. And because he's a dentist, he knew what he was looking at. And he incorporated, he's got a dinosaur tooth set into the fireplace in his bedroom there. Just a beautiful, beautiful place. Very peaceful. He has rental cabins there. So anybody looks up Artesian Lakes on the internet, you can go stay there. It's fabulous. Let me just click through this, because it's typical. There's another one of his trees.
We actually do that right there ourselves. That came from his land, but we do that too. I mean, we have some hollow ones out there that look pretty cool.
You really do. People put glass on the top.
Yeah, put glass on top. Yeah, it's really cool. It's like stalactites in the.
Yeah, that's a cypress stump turned upside down, and those are very popular. We've got a mantle shop here, and we do all kinds of things here at Satterwhite Log Homes. On this new website, I want to develop a special section just for the mantle shop, like the guitar makers. If you go to Gibson or Fender or any of the big guitar makers, they've all got a custom shop.
Yeah, and
so
really,
that's our custom shop.
Yeah, it is, and they do good work out there.
All
different species of wood.
All your family members would love living in a log home lifestyle. There they are. Okay, second home in Artesian Lakes. I'm going to go through this one pretty quick. I mean, this is a very high-end home. Look, fireplaces are one of the big ticket items in a home. And look at this. They've had their stonemason complete their driveway.
Drive-in. Cool.
Yeah, this is. Look at that Spanish moss in the trees. That garage that looks like a garage there. That's not a garage. That's where their grandchildren's have little powered boats inside there. To get out, they don't allow powered. They'll allow trolling motor kind of things, just real low speed out on the Artesian Lakes. Look at that stonework on that chimney over there. Just
What do you call
beyond
that? A
fabulous.
fireplace wall next to the
I
window
guess.
wall?
And the glass work in the light fixtures, fabulous. Throughout their home, they use onyx. Did I pronounce that right?
Yep.
I don't
Onyx.
vacation in Mexico, but
Yeah, onyx, you can actually have a light underneath it, and it shows through. Yeah, it's translucent.
if you can believe it, these people, I met them. Now, I didn't get to know them well, but I met them. And it was their intention to build a nicer home than this, and this was going to be their guest home.
Huh?
But this, you know that this is the other side of that stone wall in the great room, and this is the second floor. Now, if somebody wants to do something like this, you better plan in advance, because that is natural stone. That's some serious weight for a second story.
Quite a footing you'll have to have underneath that.
Yep. But like we say, we can, if you want to go there, we can get you there. This is their home, and this is, look at those ceiling fans. That's a little deal. I could do an entire Satterwhite Live episode just on grandparents, because that's what we're looking at here is a bunk room for their grandkids. And they better plan on nobody getting any sleep.
Yeah, really.
Just a beautiful place. And that's their own little channel in the gravel pits there, and looking out the door of their place. And again, I think that's more natural stonework there, patio, and
I like it.
and that mid-water pergola. Unbelievable. Who would think that there's a place named Syria, Virginia? But this is
That's cool.
one of the Satterwhite plans, the Southern Comfort in Syria, as rendered in Syria, Virginia. We've shown this before on Satterwhite Live and mentioned while this house was under construction, J-Lo came and had a look. Boy, we had people up there building it.
Now, who is this guy? We know this guy that built this house.
I'm not going to get all customers' names and everything. But
We had some kind of relationship with him, didn't we? Yes or no? Seemed like we did.
just a nice guy, I'll tell you that. This is one, I got too many stories. I'm going to skip it. He had to jump start me at the end of the day. I stayed so late.
Go.
Yeah. You're at a house like this and you have to wake the guy up and say, hey, could you bring your jumper cables?
Yeah.
So this porch, this is our Smoky Mountain logs. You see the chinking there? It's the end of the day. Look at that gorgeous light up under the porch from that setting sun to the west. There's, if you look at Syria, Virginia, there is a place there that has been since before the American Revolution, colonial times, called Graves Mountain, Graves. You can go up there and stay. It's beyond fabulous. Family style eating, that would be another story, and I've got too many stories. How do you pronounce that, Randy? We're not from upper New York.
Adirondack.
Adirondack? Okay, so they went and got the originals from, or somebody who's
You talking about the chairs I was saying?
The chairs,
Yeah.
right. And just beautiful. That vantage point is looking south from there over from Syria, is looking south to the presidential retreat today is Camp David. But before Camp David was built, the presidential retreat was Camp Hoover. That's the next door neighbor. So that's overlooking Camp Hoover to the south. This property, interesting story, backstory on everything. This was the winter camp of Stonewall Jackson, the last year of his life. His entire army was on the creek that runs down below this house.
See, Danny's got stories.
Yeah, and and so today, the fellow who owns this house, he has in partnership with LL Bean, or at least at the time that I was there, he runs a Wounded Warrior project very similar to Satterwhite's association with a similar project here in Texas, and he has they come trout fishing.
Cool.
And there we are. I didn't do too many
yeah.
interiors on that, but
I love the red wall.
I do that. Isn't that unique? He's taken our wood and painted it red. You can do anything. Log homes are like blue jeans. You just can't go wrong on how the decor and accessories. Okay, good. This is the last one.
All right. Woo! I hear applause out there.
Yeah, I'm sure. Where the buffalo roam. So, it is, the backstory is how fascinating different Satterwhite homeowners are. And these people were just a joy to meet, and their dream was to bison ranch in the northern neck of Virginia. So this is so close to the Atlantic, you can smell the salt air from here.
Wow.
If you were to, we crossed a bridge, and I was told, once you cross that bridge, you have to have a saltwater fishing permit. And where this is, it's not walking distance from where George Washington and the Potomac, but it's bicycling.
Oh.
You know, you could bicycle over where George Washington chopped down the cherry tree and where all of George Washington's birthplace and ancestors.
Yeah. George didn't have a bicycle.
He didn't have a bicycle. I've got a T-shirt from the George Washington birthplace because of this. So just fascinating. We've gone longer than I intended to, so I won't get into all the stories about how fascinating it is to handle animals of this size, other than just a quick tour of these folks' home. That's very Satterwhite, typical Satterwhite interior, but maybe a little different decor.
Yeah, you don't see many of those.
If this was my place, it would just be hard to resist putting some kind of speaker in them and doing the Billy Bass thing. But look at this kitchen, folks. And part of they're raising those bison with the intention of selling them to restaurants along the eastern seaboard. So the day before we did this photo shoot, they had the full. They had the chefs, dressed up with the chef caps and the whole deal. They had cooking school because cooking bison is quite unique. It's very healthy meat.
Wow.
And they had they hold occasional cooking schools there. And there's one of the hides.
That one didn't make it.
I got to tell you, these people were so tender-hearted, and they just love the bison. And the man was almost apologetic. He says, I know what the end of their story is, but I make sure they have a blissful existence.
Yeah. I got a
every
buddy
day.
that has bison, and he won't eat them.
Yeah.
He's too sympathetic to them. He won't eat them.
The home is, as you can see from that octagonal stained glass window above the master bedroom there, has a theme of bison throughout. There's bison on the wall, bison in the master bath.
In the tub, yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of detail. I really abbreviated this. Like I say, I did 1,000 pictures for Alan. And but I put this picture of their daughter's room, and she's grown now, and they're empty nesters, but it does show that you don't have to do log everywhere in a log home. You can, wherever your decorating muse takes you. So I got one final story to, and this is the reason I chose this house, because there were so many, dozens and dozens, and I just had to pick a few. But Josh and Megan are in Yellowstone, and they're going to be up there where the bison really run wild. Where the buffalo roam wild. And they were a little concerned about bear spray and all this stuff. And I says,
nah.
So I have one little final, and this is also backstory of the guy who goes, and I could tell you all about, look at these guys. They are all lungs. They can run 50 miles an hour for 10 hours without stopping. They don't even get winded. He has to be the guy who runs this ranch. He's got the biggest, fastest Honda four-wheeler to go out there. But if those male bison get mad at him, that thing will not accelerate. It can't outrun them. They're bad as a quarter horse. But I wanted to tell the one story, and this is just one of those. If I can, this is the last slide. It's just one of those. What time of year is Father's Day?
Summer.
I remember we were there on Father's Day.
Spring, summer. Yeah.
because my son Peter's with me, and they had something to do, and we ran up to Washington, D.C. for one day. But anyway, that was the time of year, spring, late spring, and so he has, bison take a lot of pasture, and they need a tall grass prairie, and all the environmentals here were conducive to that. They had really done some research. And it's just one of those special experiences that I'll never have, and none of us have the opportunity. You learn about how bison herds are matriarchal, that the females run the herd, that the dominant female, she makes all the decisions about where they eat, what they do. The
She
male
doesn't say, I don't care, whatever you want to eat?
No.
Oh, okay.
The male, he had to keep two pasture. I forget the distance. He can't keep. He says it doesn't matter how much voltage you put on a fence. You better not have two males just across, anything the fence from each other. They don't care. They're going to fight.
Yeah.
So they have to be way out of sight of each other on this. So he had, I think, three herds with three males, widely out of sight of each other. But I happened to be there on the day that he decided to turn the mamas and the babies out to pasture. And it was late in the day and sunset, and you can see one of the babies there. And this was actually
Excuse me.
the pasture that they were coming from. I shot video of the other. But I'm going to tell you, as big as a bison is, when they get in their natural environment, none of us see tall grass prairies much anymore. He opened the gates and he pulled them open with ropes where he had escape points, because these animals can be very dangerous. And the matriarch of the herd, she sees that gate open and the access to the new pasture opening up for the first time of the year. And as big as she is, you can barely see her shoulders above the grasses. And I realize they're on the ground here, but I'm talking about the pasture that they went into. The grass was so high. And the babies, it was just amazing. It was late in the day, they were backlit, and they ran. It's hard to explain witnessing the joy of these animals being turned out into that pasture. And they just ran for joy. They ran way down in tree lines, way beyond our sight, and you can hear their hooves, and their backs are just above that grass. And as they undulate through the grasses, and the light was beautiful, it somehow looked like dolphins jumping through the waves that you've seen on, you may have seen in the ocean. A lot of us, I've just seen it on ferries and things. I've never been out on a cruise or anything. And they were out there and they just ran for joy in that tall grass, just like dolphins jumping for joy through the waves. And then the babies, one of which we see there, they got separated from their mamas and they got nervous and they started calling out. And the females, they realized that the babies were lost, and they bellowed and they ran back to this original pasture, and they called those babies, and the babies came for their mamas out of the tall grass pasture. That was just such an experience for me. All of these stories, I could do this kind of thing month on end. It's just been such a pleasure to get to know Satterwhite customers. As I drive, I have to, when I do photography, I have so much equipment to carry that it's impractical to fly. So I've driven all across this country. Wherever you may build, I'd love to, boy, what a blessing that would be to see where you're going to build and you realize your dreams. And over the many years that Satterwhite's been around, almost 50 years, to see people realize their dreams. And as I drive the country, every mile is like a thread in the tapestry of the landscape and of the country. And I read things of people crossing the plains, and watched a YouTube video last night about the Goodnight Loving Trail and about the origins of the Lonesome Dove story. And you know, and I know that scenery myself, and I know the customers in what is in your heart when you seek these things out, and it's such a it's a marvel to behold. So when Satterwhite gets involved with you in these projects of building these homes, it's not just a lumberyard kind of a thing with us. It's you know, you become part of the tapestry in our world, that every thread, and it's a marvel to us to see the beautiful things that you do with our products. So I've kept you way too long. Let me see. I think that turns on the logo again. Randy started coughing and he bailed just a minute or so ago. But hey, folks, thanks for being with us. We'll try to get here soon with the standby generator episode, more on topic. If you like these things, let me tell you about how social media works. Because you know, we're rebuilding our website and everything, so it's critically important that you like and subscribe and all those kind of things, because you know, to keep this kind of content coming, because it is looked at, and we don't want to do it if nobody wants to see it. So, but we do simulcast this thing to Facebook and to YouTube, and it's probably, you know, those of you who are really interested in this, it's probably good to subscribe to both. I get a little frustrated with all the platforms this way and that, and even our own website, everything, you know, everything's got pluses and minuses. So thanks for being with us. And I'm gonna bail on this for now. I'm sitting here, I've got an iPad, and I can touch a button that says fade to black. Thanks for being with us.